We want to create the word jazz in 3-point perspective, worm's eye. So over here you can see what we're going to be doing. If we want to create the letter, if you first look at it in 1-point perspective, looking straight on, and then you draw a box around that letter. So this is what I want you to do. Draw 2 lines on each side so it makes it a square. And then if we look, we can see 2 shapes, one triangle shape here and a second triangle shape right here. So there's 2 triangles, and we're going to draw those 2 triangles inside a 3-point perspective box. So here's what we have to do. I've started you off with the box right here. That's where the letter Z is going to be. And all we have to do is make this triangle go here and on the other side. So first let's make the top of the box here. So I'm going to, just like this was in 2-point perspective, even though it's 3, we're going to use the same concept. So line up your ruler to vanishing point number 1. So write the number 1 here and number 2 over here. And we're going to line up our ruler. I'm going to draw the perspective lines to vanishing point 1. And then go ahead and circle the corner right here. On this other one, we're going to line it up to vanishing point number 2. Like this. And it's going to cross right there. So that forms our box. Now, where is the eye level line? The eye level line is right here. So if you want to take your ruler and draw a line connecting from vanishing point 1 to vanishing point 2. That means anything below that line that you just drew, you're going to see the top of it, and anything above it, you'll see the bottom. So that's why we can see right here the top of this box. Now that box is going to need the letter Z. We're going to place the letter on the left side, and on the right side here, it's going to look 3-dimensional. We're going to see it just like you can see in this example over here on the right. To start off, we want to line up our ruler to vanishing point 1 because that's where the top of the box is going on this side. And we're going to draw the triangle that we did earlier. And so we're going to draw the first part of our Z, okay? Now the Z, because it's an angled part, it doesn't necessarily, the side part of the Z, I should say, doesn't necessarily go back to both vanishing points. That would be also if you had a circle or something leaning up against something. But the Z, we're just going to draw the top part back to the vanishing point, but the side, okay, we're not going to necessarily go to the vanishing point because it's kind of at an interesting angle there. So that part is triangle number 1 right here. And I've kind of started you off so you can see how it works. And then we're going to make a parallel line next to that, okay? And we're also going to, so let's do the parallel line first, okay? So this parallel line right here. And then what we're going to do is form the Z, and I'm going to line up the other part to my vanishing point right here, okay? And wherever they cross, that will form the Z. Now we've got to make this to look 3D. So first get to this point, and we place that inside this bottom part of the box. So now that we have that, what we're going to do is circle the corners again. So let me grab a colored pencil here. I'm going to circle this corner and circle this corner right here. These 2 corners. All right, the corners are the secret to perspective in my opinion. So those corners are going to have to do what? They're going to have to follow the side of the box and go back to vanishing point 2. So let's do that. Let's draw a line back to vanishing point 2, like this. And then keeping my finger on the ruler, I'm going to slide it down like this and go back to vanishing point 2. All right, now we're not quite done yet, even though it's starting to look 3D, because we're missing what? We're missing a corner. So this corner down here has also got to go to the other vanishing point, back to vanishing point 1. So line up your ruler, back to vanishing point 1, and there we go. Now we want to shade this in a little bit, so I'm going to shade it in using the side of my pencil, just like this. I'll do the bottom part in gray, and then I'm going to do a color for the other parts, just so we can see. So this part, if you prefer to use colored pencil, that's okay too, but just something so it stands out. Okay, so I'm going to shade this part in here, and then grabbing my colored pencil, I'm going to shade this side, this part in yellow right here. So grab any colored pencil you want and color that in. Okay, so we're on our way. We have the first part there, and again, all we did is we looked at the letters straight on in 1 point perspective, and it's similar to 2 point where we're putting it on both sides, but the sides now are going to go up to vanishing point 3 up here. So let's write vanishing point 3. You can just put number 3 if you want, all the way up here. That's where the side is going to go. Let's keep going. Now we have to fit the next Z inside of this area right here. Okay, so I'm going to kind of just erase a few of the perspective lines and even erase a little bit of this horizon line, just so it doesn't get too confusing. Just want to have some space here. Now, the closest part to us, okay, this edge right here is also going to be in line with this other Z. So what I'm going to do is line up my ruler to vanishing point 3, and I can see that it is in line right here, and I'm just going to draw a line like this, okay? Just draw a line like this. Now, what I want to do is go back to my vanishing point. So the top and the bottom, let's go ahead and circle right here. The top and the bottom of that line are going to go back to my vanishing points. Now, since this is right at the horizon line, right at the eye level line, okay, we're not going to see the top or bottom. Now here's what we have to do. So I'm going to draw this top and bottom back to my vanishing point. So let's do that first. So this one goes over here. Remember, that line is not straight up and down. It's kind of angling a little bit to vanishing point 3, right? It's in line with those other ones. And then I'm going to go over here to vanishing point 2. Now, how do we know where the side is going to be? Well, we're going to line up our ruler. So after we do that, line up your ruler to vanishing point 3, and you can see that the edge is going to be the same, the side. So it's going to match it. See that? So it's the same as this C. We're going to put the letter A up there in a little while, and then line up this one right here, just like this. Okay? Like this. So now that we have our box, it's in line with the other ones, I'm going to erase this part because it's overlapping. I made it overlapping just a little bit to that Z. Okay? Now if you want, just so it can stand out, we can also use another color. So if I want, I could use the color blue, okay? Or green, or anything that you think might be helpful. Maybe I'll use red here so I can see the top of it. So I'm going to color that part in red a little bit, okay? I think the colored pencils stand out just a little bit more, all right? Maybe I'll just keep it like that, okay? So now what we have to do is fit another Z inside of this box here. Now, how did we do it before? Well, before we looked here at this triangle type of shape, and we said, okay, there's 2 triangles. We have to fit it inside of there. So that's what we're going to do right now. I want you to notice this corner right here. So everybody look at the Z, and you can notice the corner. I'm gonna actually put a little blue dot right here where I'm pointing, okay? That corner has to line up with the other Z. So what I'm gonna do is, since I want that corner to match up, I'm gonna put this ruler in line with vanishing point 3, and I'm just gonna do a little dotted dash line, dot, dash, dash, like this. That way I know that when I draw the other part of the Z, it has to match and be in line with this part. Also, there's another corner right here. So I want you to put a second dashed line going up to your vanishing point from here, okay? Because we have to make sure everything lines up. All right, so you can see right here, I did that. Now it's gonna make sense in a little bit. Now you see how before we took the first part of the Z, we wanna do that again to vanishing point 1, okay? But I'm gonna draw it until it hits where I had the perspective lines, or excuse me, the receding lines. Same thing, you can use those interchangeably, but you see right here, it's gonna stop right here. And then I'm going to go ahead, so that's the first part of the Z, and then I'm gonna make another line going back just like this, okay? And then when I go over, okay, I need to make sure it stops where this part, this perspective line was. So I'm gonna make a mark right about here, okay? Because I need to make sure that it matches. I want it to match. So I can see right here, I'm gonna make a parallel line just like this, okay? Make a parallel line going back until it hits, and everything matches up. And then I just have to draw this part next, going back to my vanishing point right here. So this part is going to go back to my vanishing point. So now I have my Z, everything is matched up, and I can take my, I'm going to circle this corner, I'm going to draw those back now to my other vanishing point number 2. All the corners match up here. It's going to stop right there. And then I'm gonna have this part, and it's gonna stop right here. We're not quite done yet. See, this goes back like that. It's not quite done yet. Why is it not done? We still have a few more corners. Now, this corner where I'm gonna put my arrow, watch carefully, that one has to match up and has to be parallel with the angle of the Z. But before I do that, okay, let me erase this part because I wanna make it look 3D. I'm going to actually erase this part inside here. I'm going to line up this corner back to my vanishing point number 1. I'm going to line up the other corner here back to vanishing point number 2, and it's going to cross right there. Okay, actually crosses right there. And then all I have to do is line up this part like this, and it should, if I've done it right, should pretty much line up with that. There we go, should line up like that. And I'm gonna color it in so it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so I'll make this part here, I'll do this part in red, and then I'll color it, I'll just shade the other part down here like so. Okay, doesn't really matter what colors you use, you just want to be consistent. So therefore I can see that a little bit clearer, and then I'm going to do this part in yellow and this part in yellow right here. So we're on our way. Let's keep going here, and then you can also erase this part, the side part here, just like that. So now we have the Z, everything lined up. Make sure that these corners all line up. Now we need to make an A. So I've started you off with a box right here. So let's finish drawing the box. So this part where it has the dashed lines, we're gonna have an A. So we can line up this part to the vanishing point like this. And then we're gonna do the bottom part of the box as well here. And it's gonna cross, actually I need to go over just a little bit more here, like this. And this part will cross right here. Okay, there we go. So I've made now the bottom part of the box. Now with the letter A, if you look at it, let's take a look here after you do this. Let's zoom into the letter A real quick. Now, I'm looking at this block letter A. Let's put a square, actually kind of be like a rectangle maybe, around the A so we can kind of determine what shapes there are. And it happens to have more more triangle shapes actually. So if I go like this, and let's zoom in. I can see right here with the A, I have a triangle on the top left, number 1, a triangle on the top right, number 2, a third triangle in the middle, number 3, and then we have a parallelogram shape down here, number 4. So I have 4 shapes that I need to put, those 4 shapes, I need to put them inside of this this box right here, this 3-point perspective box in Worm's Eye. So now that I have those shapes, I want to take the shapes there and put them right here. So all I have to do is with the A, just go in just a little bit. So just make a couple marks because the A, right, if you look, it's not all the way at the corners, is it? It's a little bit in. So I'm just gonna go slightly in. And then once I have those 2 marks, all I have to do is just draw that first line to the corner, and that will be triangle number 1. So you watch this. So here, that's triangle number 1. That's the same triangle there that we have here. And then I just go like this and draw it all the way to the corner here. And that will be triangle number 2. You see that? Triangle number 2. You can see how it easily translates from 1-point perspective to 3-point perspective. It's very easy if you look at it straight on, in my opinion. That's the best way to see it and to understand it. So next what we have to do is take a look. The A has a top part and also a part here. Those lines going straight across have to be angled down, don't they? They have to be angled down now to the vanishing point on the left. So I'm just gonna make a little mark kind of where the top of the triangle is. That's the 3rd triangle. And I'm also gonna make just a little mark here. And I'm gonna angle it down like this, okay? Angle it down. And then when I draw the other part of the triangle, I have to make sure that it's parallel to the other line that we did. So this one and this one, they're parallel. You see that? So I'm gonna slide this over a little bit so it's parallel, all right? So that triangle now, triangle 3, the part inside the A is right here. And then all I have to do is just line up my ruler to the vanishing point, number 2, and then I just follow this part down and I make the A. You see how easy that is? Just like that. I make the A. Now, how do I make the A 3D? Well, it's very simple. You just take the corners. So let's take this top corner right here, and I'm gonna line this top corner up with vanishing point number 2, okay? And start like that, and I'll draw a perspective line all the way back just so we can see. Dot, 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 dot. Like that. Then I'm gonna take all the corners and do the same thing. So this corner here, and I'm gonna start to color some areas in so it makes more sense. I wanna make sure it's parallel to the angle that I have there. So I just slide the ruler over. It's parallel like this, okay? And I'm gonna color that part in yellow right now so we can easily see it, okay? And then from this corner, that will go back to my other vanishing point like this. And then let me color that part in in red, okay? Actually, I'll do it in blue just so it stands out a little bit more. Okay, I'll just do this part in blue right here so we can see that bottom part, just so it stands out. I'll use a different color. Okay, so now all we have to do is continue to make it 3D by connecting the corners. This is kind of what we did with the 2-point perspective. So this part will also be in blue right here, okay? And then what we can do is go take this corner right here and make it parallel to what? We got to make it parallel to this part here that we had, okay? And then we're going to be on our way to finishing this one. It's almost done, right? So we have a corner right here. We have a corner right here that's going to go back like that, okay? So if we look at these lines, these all need to be in line with each other here. And this one is parallel to this, like that, okay? And we got, everything is looking pretty good here. So next, let's go to our J, okay? So that's the next thing we want to do is go to our J. And with the J, we need to just follow the direction and curve it around, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to take our ruler, line it up. Let me zoom in just a little bit so we can see here. We're going to line it up back to our vanishing point number 2, just like this. And I'll make that one in blue so we can see it a little bit better. Then what we're going to do is take the other corner and go back to our vanishing point number 1 right here, just like this, a little bit. And then I'm going to draw the shape of the J. So right over here, you can, if you imagine the J is like a little box or something, then what we can do, let me just color this part in orange so we can see it right here. Then what we can do is kind of imagine the bottom of the J would be right here, and then it would kind of curl around this way, right? It kind of goes this direction, and then it's going to be headed back towards my vanishing point 3, and it should line up with this part. So it kind of curves around, going in line with my vanishing point 3, and then I can color this part in just like that, and then we can color the bottom part in. I gotta make this part of the box right here, okay? Now sometimes it's helpful if you were to take this and turn it upside down too. You can, sometimes I like to do that with perspective. You can take something, you can turn it upside down just to see how it looks. This one looks pretty good. And you can double check things. If you were to turn it upside down, you say, hey, does that look good? And I think it does. So let's finish coloring it here. So what I'm gonna do is finish coloring the sides here, this side. The A, I wanna color the A in. I can use a few more colors here just for fun. Maybe I'll make this one in orange right here, this part. The other part I could do red maybe, so it stands out. Okay, and we have our 3D letters. It says Jazz right there. Okay, just follow the rules of perspective and you will be fine. Now there's only one thing that I realized I did not do. I'm just kind of double checking. I'm seeing on the Z right here, there's this little corner needs to go back to my vanishing point. There's just a little simple fix right here. And then I'll I'll color that one in just a little bit, just so we can see. Maybe I'll make that one in blue so it really stands out. And there we go. I think that one looks pretty good. So that's what we're looking for, is trying to make sure everything lines up, trying to make sure all the corners match up, and trying to figure out exactly, making sure everything is in line. And it looks pretty good. So looking here, I can see. So see if you can get to this point